Just this week, Hanukkah. I have been celebrating Hanukkah at Harvard for almost 60 years. I was the first professor to light the menorah on the steps of Widener Hall. And now the rabbi at Hillel tells us that Harvard has said you have to take the menorah down at night because otherwise it will be attacked and there will be crimes committed. So you have to hide your menorah just the way Jewish students today hide their kippah. If I walk through the Harvard campus wearing the buttons that I wear on my lapel every day, showing an American flag and an Israeli flag and my support for Israel,
right,
I think I would be in physical danger. And President Gay is the source of the problem, since she is the champion of what's called DEI. And the DEI program has been the breeding ground for anti-Semitism. The diversity it practices is only skin deep. Equity is the opposite of equality, and inclusion excludes Jews. And so we have a major crisis on the Harvard campus. And of course, not surprisingly, the Harvard Corporation backed President Gay 100%.
And you think Claudine Gay is a DEI hire at Harvard, Professor?
Is the wrong. Well, I don't know. She is a good person. I like her personally. But she's the wrong person for the wrong job at the wrong time.
But that doesn't answer the question. She might be a good person, but she might also be a DEI hire. Would you go that far to say, yes, she's a DEI hire by Harvard?
I don't know anything about the hiring process. I do know that she is a champion of DEI, and that has been the bane of equality at Harvard and universities around the world. Until DEI is dismantled, we're going to see increasing anti-Semitism, because DEI divides the world into two: the oppressors and the oppressed.
Right.
And the oppressors are Israel. They can do no right. The oppressed are the Palestinians. They can do no wrong. It divides the campus between white and black, between Christian, Muslim, and Jew.
Yeah.
That's not the Harvard that I've been at for 60 years.
Right. Carol, the professor said that there's a crisis on the campus at Harvard, but would you agree that there's crises on multiple campuses, especially after what we heard the other week at these congressional hearings?
I mean, it has been going on for a long time, and it affects just about every college and university in America, including the Christian colleges and universities. And I can answer the question you posed to Professor Dershowitz. Yes, Claudine Gay is a DEI appointee, and I have argued that the record she presented for tenure at Stanford would not normally get you tenure in the Ivy League. And I'm also proud to say that Professor Dershowitz wrote the foreword for my book, The Adversity of Diversity. And Dr. Gay, or Mrs. Gay, because we don't even know if she really earned her doctorate, she could be the poster child for DEI.
That's a great point, Dr. Swain. Professor, just back to your point about Jewish students at Harvard that are now hiding menorahs. They're not displaying them in their windows. All things being equal, could you imagine if the same thing were happening to somebody displaying an LGBT pride flag?
Well, no, I know that the double standard is apparent at Harvard. President Gay testified that Harvard supports freedom of expression. I wish that was so. She was a champion of cancellation, censorship, firing professors because they represented an unpopular criminal defendant. She was the opposite of civil liberties and free speech. She discovered free speech on October 7th, when people started to attack the Jews. Suddenly there was free speech to attack Jews, free speech to call for genocide against the Jews, but not free speech for the other groups. For example, I have been at Harvard 60 years. I have not been invited to speak at the Harvard campus once since the day I retired on Israel. The one time I was invited, I had to be taken off campus because there was a fear that if I spoke about Israel, and I support the two-state solution, if I spoke about Israel on the Harvard campus, my safety would be at risk.